Hey, David Brewster here with a new episode of 3 for All. This is 3 Ian Thornley Licks from 2015, and I've had some requests to feature more from this dynamite guitarist. And Ian's been on the scene since around 1992. He was a student at Berklee College of Music and formed a band with some fellow students that became Big Wreck. And since that time, Big Wreck's getting ready to release their 8th studio album this year. I think it comes out in October. And very interesting guitarist, very interesting band. And Ian has also released albums under the name Thornley. I think there's 2 Thornley albums out there. And also a solo album under his own name. But definitely very dynamic, impressive guitarist, very expressive. Sometimes shreddy, sometimes bluesy, sometimes jazzy, funky, heavy. I mean, he really does it all. And Ian's a great guitarist, and I'm stoked to put together another 3 for All surrounding his great music. Now, when you start digging into Ian's legacy and his music and stuff, you can't help but notice, like in photos or video footage or whatever, the assortment of great guitars that he has at his fingertips. He's currently using Suhr Guitars. He used to use Ernie Ball. I've seen him using various Fenders, Tellys and Strats and Gibsons and stuff on stage. And I found this image of him with kind of his collection kind of fanned out, and I was like, man, I'd love to just kind of pick through and see what he has in his guitar stash. It's really cool. So the licks in this lesson from 2015 actually came from a Suhr showcase, and it was kind of Big Wreck and Ian Thornley, showcasing Suhr guitars and showcasing their music. And I'd seen it before, but it came up again in my recommendations, and I watched it again a few nights ago, and it just knocked my socks off. And I thought, yeah, let's hit some more Ian. I am going to follow this lesson with a Big Wreck chord play, which we haven't featured them on the channel yet. But this is technically the second time I featured Ian, because his licks and ideas, I mean, he's got the skills that pay the bills. He's a badass guitarist. So if you're looking for some hot licks, buckle up, because here we go. Okay, all the licks in this lesson took place during an extended solo from the song Ghosts during Big Wreck's set during this concert. And that revolves around G minor as far as like the basic tonality here. And this first lick is this jazzy melodic phrase that Ian whipped out. It's really cool. Something like this. One more time there. So think G minor for this. And he's basically, throwing in some really slippery, kind of chromatic slides and jazzy, tonalities here, targeted. So slowly he's doing... something like that, like really slow. One more time. And there's all these like interesting like kind of stops where he adds vibrato, or maybe there's a slide or a shift right there. So one more time, kind of slow. And I just like the way he's basically moving between like 3 different pentatonic positions, basically, because he's starting there. And then right there, kind of moving from there. But in like a real jazzy way. Like, I'm a sucker for those jazzy slip and slide licks like that. Really cool. Okay, next up's a melodic slip and slide phrase, and this is played over C minor now, in this song, and he's doing this. One more time. Really interesting. Once again, that's played over C minor, right? And he's grabbing, this E flat, bends that up a whole step with some authority right there. And then return to that E flat right there with vibrato. And then, so he's doing this kind of quick, like bend and release. And he's doing it again on the B string. So he does it there on the high E. Right? And then this little, and that's kind of weird because you're hearing this, kind of repeated note with that slide right there. There's actually a unison appearing. So it's interesting the way he's kind of connecting that, like that. And the last note's that E flat right there, which is unusual. And it's all about that weird kind of unison slip and slide moment there. You know, really cool. The way he kind of ends that right there. And once again, I love those slippery licks like that. Okay, next up's a Jazzy Intervallic lick, and something like this. It's really cool. One more time. So right there, we're basically kind of doing this shift slide, you know, from that A to B flat, grabbing that C. So we're coming up like that. Then you're gonna slide this E flat into E, catch the C, like that. So we're doing like that. That's kind of weird. And then after you grab that C, go back to that D and then that B flat to A right there. And then you're gonna go down this D, grab that B flat, and then back to that A and shift slide back to G to end it. Like that. So really slow. Time. And I like that intervallic action right there, like the way he ends it. And it's just all kind of crammed in there too. Dizzy fingers and, you know, with chromatic kind of jazzy slides and stuff. And the way it sits in the pocket or in the time is really interesting too. Like that. And I love those kind of jazzy, blurry licks like that. They really kind of perk your ears up when you hear them. Like, what was that? Okay, here's a bonus lick from this footage, and it's one of Ian's signature speed licks, speed runs. And this is terrifying, something like this. One more time. So if we break this down slowly, we got right? So think of like this position of G minor pentatonic right here. And that's kind of where this is coming from, because he's starting up here. That's what it looks like really slow. One more time. Crammed in there too, but it does have kind of a logical flow or sequence to it. So if we break it down slowly, you can see that's the first little part right there. And then as soon as you do that, you're going to do that A again, like that. And then on the G string, you're grabbing this F, E to that D. And then you're going to just do that F to D, like that. So it's almost like what we had right here, but on the G string, like that. So real slow there. And then you're just coming down the remainder of that G minor pentatonic and ending on that B flat right there. So there, like I said, there is kind of a logical way to put that together, but you have to go slow to kind of see it or understand it like that. That's terrifying right there. And he's just flying flying right through it, right? Just crammed in there. Cool lick, and just definitely something you can impress your neighbors with. Like, wow, what the hell was that? Alright, that's going to wrap this episode of 3 for All with this look at 3 Ian Thornley licks from 2015. Definitely a dynamite guitarist, and I've been following him for a while now. I've been aware of Big Rack and Ian's music for about 20 years or so, give or take. And definitely a very interesting band, very inspiring guitarist, and he's a great vocalist and songwriter, front man, aside from the crazy guitar antics, because he definitely whips out solos and cool riffs and fills and stuff. But then he's kind of the leader and the voice of the band too, aside from his guitar magic. He's got a great voice. Kind of reminds me of Chris Cornell a little bit sometimes, where it's like, man, he can sing his butt off, play his fingers off, and write a great song that you'll be humming and whistling in your head for days or weeks. Definitely a great band, and I'm definitely looking forward to their new album too, coming out in October. And I'm going to follow this, like I said earlier, with a Big Wreck chord play, which we haven't gone there yet as far as, focusing on the band. But it's long overdue, so that's coming right after this lesson. So in the meantime, please leave some feedback and comments, subscribe to Late Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it with more content and material. Thank you.